Hey everyone, I just learned that Chloe Bennet of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is dating Logan Paul, famous YouTuber. Jealous. Hey man, I want some of that PR stuff you got there. Come on Logan, I know they're helping you, but that's another story. At any rate, they're dating. I think that's fantastic. On Twitter, people have been really coming down on her for dating Logan because of that stunt he pulled in Japan regarding, well, a scene that I don't want to recite or repeat. He knows he made a mistake. At first, I thought it was a setup, and I thought it was an awful one at that. But again, I don't want to recount that. My point is, I always viewed Logan as more like, and I made videos about Logan, blogs about him before, as more like the modern, kind of a cross between, this is my new take, cross between Phil DeFranco and maybe Ray William Johnson, because of the jump cuts and everything. It's supposed to be comedy. I don't quite want to say it's Renetto mixed in because Logan Paul doesn't touch politics at all. He's just silly, right? But that's his thing. He's kind of LA surfer dude kind of thing going. But always fun to see a YouTuber's success, because one YouTuber's success, means success for all of us, because it means that YouTube Nation, as I now call it, is finally hit mainstream, is legitimized, okay? So I say all that to say this, folks, give Logan a break. Yeah, what he did was ridiculous and it was tasteless and all that, and I think we've all had our say. But it's also another layer. In other words, I find that people tend to judge others by the layer they see them on in social media. What I mean by layer, let's take the time. I go back to a time, I'm Zenny62. I go back to a time when there was no social media. And the only impression you had about a person was either what someone else said about them or what you saw them do if you were within their view, or they were within your view, or your acquaintance, a relationship with them. That was it. But now we have another way. And that other way is to look at something on a screen, not television, and get not just a controlled version of who they are, which is television generally, but also an uncontrolled version of who they are and what they might do, presented either by themselves or more often than not, unless you're in media, someone else. That's brand new. It's brand new in society. And so there are people who feel like they know Logan simply because, or strictly because of his blogs, and that's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. That's it. And they stick with that point of view. But for Chloe, that's not for you to worry about. That's not something that you should even care about what someone else thinks about him. What is important is what you know about him as the person he is in real life. You know, I think that as we move along through society, and I was hesitant because I was going to use the term progress, but I don't think this is necessarily progress, I'm about to point out. There are going to be people who quite literally live a second life. We've had the second life game or world, right? Cyber world, and they'll be better in that than the real world. And as we advance, where electronics are to a point where you have the home assistants now, which will become robot assistants in homes that are being advertised as thinking for themselves when it's not really thinking at all. But there'll be enough people who can move in and out of these different types of cyber and real worlds and be completely different types of people within them. And there'll be other people who simply want to be in one world, which is the real world, and they won't want to deal with the cyber world, and others who will understand how to regulate it, okay? And that will be the big psychiatric challenge of the future, will be how all this impacts people, and I think it's going to redefine what mental illness is. But I digress. Right now, where you are is you have to not pay attention to what people say on the layer in social media. All that matters, because they don't know them, and because in a sense they're that much more distant from him, but they feel like they know him, is what you as a person really knows, because you're with the real dude. You know who that person is, and that's all that matters, and that's all you should worry about. My other question is this: are you going to be at Comic-Con with him? Because Chloe is the only person of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cast that's scheduled to be at the animation booth on the animation desk, excuse me, within the Marvel booth on Thursday of next week. And it says Chloe, Chloe Benton, Bennet? Is it Bennet? How do you pronounce your last name? But anyway, it says you and a special guest. Is that special guest Logan Paul? Are you guys really dating, or is this some sort of PR stunt? Well, we'll find out. Anyway, congratulations.